What's up everybody, Chef Glenn B and I'm back in the kitchen, and today I'm working on a mustard and wine braised chicken. For those of you that are new, I want to welcome you. I regularly drop videos where I'm sharing my favorite recipes and we pair them with wines. And the intent is to get the perfect pairing. If you would, and if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I drop videos every week. And also hit that like button if you're enjoying the content. I really appreciate it. So to get started with my recipe, I'm doing a mustard and wine braised chicken. I'm gonna try to pair it with a Chardonnay. All right, so to get started, I've got all of my ingredients here. I need to get my chicken seared, and let's go. So I'm working with chicken legs and chicken thighs. I'm just gonna salt and pepper them. So I've got my chicken seasoned with salt and pepper. My Dutch oven is hot already. I'm gonna add a little canola oil to the Dutch oven. And I wanna get a really nice brown crust on this chicken. Really good and brown. Okay, so I've got my chicken browned right into this Dutch oven that I just took the chicken out of. I'm gonna go ahead and add my shallots. My red bell pepper. Garlic. And I've got a little bit of crushed red pepper. Not so much for heat, but just for depth of flavor. All right, to this mixture, I'm gonna add my dry white wine. I'm gonna let that cook for about a minute or so. To this, I'm gonna go ahead and add my chicken stock. I've got some whole grain mustard. If you're not familiar with what whole grain mustard looks like, although this bottle is just about gone, but this is what the jar of whole grain mustard looks like. I'm gonna add this to the mixture. And I've got some fresh thyme that I'm gonna add. Get that mixed together. Bring that to a little simmer. So as this begins to simmer, I'm gonna go ahead and add my chicken to it. All right, so I've got my chicken in the braising liquid. I'm gonna cover this. I've got my oven preheated to 375 degrees, and I'm gonna stick this in the oven for 30 minutes. All right, so I'm pairing my wine and mustard braised chicken with a 2018 Aubert UVSL Vineyard Chardonnay. Aubert is one of the famed producers of Chardonnay in California. There are a lot of producers of Chardonnay in California. And to say that Aubert ranks amongst the best of them is saying a whole lot. You put together any list of top Chardonnays in California, and Aubert is always amongst the top of that list. And arguably, a lot of folks will tell you that they are the best. I have a lot of Chardonnays that I'm a big fan of. I consider myself sort of a Chardonnay aficionado. I was into Chardonnay long before I was even really into wine. I mean, I was drinking wine, but I didn't really know what I was drinking. I thought that there was some level of sophistication in what I was doing. I was doing big things with my Kendall Jackson back in the day. And so, I just, Chardonnays are near and dear to my heart. So let's see what we're working with this. All right, so looking at the color of this wine, it's golden. It's a little darker than light. Let's just put it that way. It's a little darker than light. And just looking at the wine, as I look at it, it looks like there's a little bit of viscosity, a little bit of body to it. I obviously hadn't tasted it, so I don't know. On the nose, it's extremely expressive. So I'm learning about wines, but what I associate with when people say salinity on these wines, I think that I'm smelling salinity, or that I'm getting salinity on the nose. And it's not really fruity. It's not, there aren't any sharp edges. There's no alcohol burn on the nose. It's just, wow. It's seamless on the nose. I mean, it's just, like a lot of times you get confusion. You're here and there and you're trying to figure out what's this, what's that. It's just, I don't know. It seems good and I hadn't even tasted it yet. All right, so let's give it a taste. Wow. I think that, just a side note, I think that Chardonnays are extremely sophisticated wines. That's just my opinion. And I'm biased because, as I said, I first learned how to drink wines drinking Chardonnays. I was drinking Chardonnays when I didn't even know what I was really drinking back in the day, a long time ago. But I think there's a level of sophistication. I mean, you can get, you get the Cabernet Sauvignons and your Pinot Noirs. It's super easy. I mean, you can get a price range anywhere from $50 on up to $1,200 a bottle on a Cabernet Sauvignon. These Chardonnays normally don't reach that price range, but I think, in my opinion, because of the fact that the Cabernets are they're so good across the board a lot of the times, and the Pinots are so good across the board a lot of the times, that the Chardonnays are a little harder to find really good, sophisticated Chardonnays. And so, yeah, I just think that there's something about a Chardonnay that just you can't get in a big dollar Cabernet Sauvignon or Pinot. I love those wines, but if you can get into a Chardonnay, boy, there's a level of sophistication to that. That's just my opinion. So back to tasting it. Oh. So, oh boy. I'm confused. I don't know what I'm tasting. I can't really identify it. Okay, so there's a little bit of a mouthfeel. There's not quite medium body, but it's not light body. It's almost medium body. It's so seamless and good. The finish is so long on this wine. I mean, I'm still tasting the sip that I sipped a minute or so ago. Wow. Yeah, so a lot of times I tell you that, you know, there's pineapple or there's, you know, all these different types of things that stand out. Man, it just tastes like really good grapes. You know, I mean, I can't really explain it any other way. I'm not, you know, all of those other things that we find a lot of times, those things that we taste that doesn't taste like grapes, or the, you know, the notes of other things that sort of permeate the wine. Man, this just seems like a well-built barrel of grapes. You know, it's so good, and it's mouth coating. It's sort of like a oily. It's not oily, but the finish, the way it coats your mouth, and the way it's on my lips, the flavor is everywhere. It's sort of like an oily sheen. Not oily, but the characteristics of just sort of coating everything, and it's on my lips too. It's just, and again, I hadn't sipped it. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I've been talking for at least, I don't know, maybe a minute or so, and I hadn't had a sip. I can still taste the sip, and that's what I mean by the long finish in this wine. This is fantastic Chardonnay. All right, so I pulled the chicken out of the oven. I'm ready to I'm gonna take the chicken out of this Dutch oven, put it on my serving platter, and I'm gonna reduce my sauce. I wanna finish and reduce my sauce. So I've got my chicken on the platter. I want to reduce this sauce, but I also want to add my heavy cream. I've got some heavy cream. We're going to reduce this until it's really nice and thick. All right, so I've got some butter. I want to finish my sauce with a little bit of butter. All right, so my chicken's done. I just want to point out something about this wine. I've been sipping this wine off camera as the food cooked. And this wine is evolving in the glass. So I'm literally getting on my palate now what I liken to perfume. And I don't mean like if someone sprayed a bottle of perfume in your mouth, how nasty that would taste. What I mean is the pretty things about the perfume, the floral, the stuff that you smell. Just imagine those smells and imagine tasting that and it tasting good. Imagine you being able to taste what you're smelling as opposed to tasting the alcohol that somebody sprayed in your mouth if they sprayed perfume in your mouth. Imagine the things that you smell in perfume if they actually tasted the way you smelt them. That's what I'm getting in this glass right now. That's what I say. That's what I mean when I say I'm getting perfume on the palate. Literally, it smells like a woman's perfume, or it tastes like a woman's perfume, but in a good way. That's the best way I can explain it. Fantastic glass of wine before we've even gotten to the food. So we're gonna taste this chicken. It's comforting. It's rich. And as you can see, all of the stuff on top of it, everything on top of this chicken is contributing to the flavor. My intent with this was to make sure that it paired with the Chardonnay. So the grain mustard, in my opinion, pairs with the Chardonnay. The basil on top of the chicken pairs with the Chardonnay. The sear on this chicken, the caramelization that creates, pairs with the Chardonnay. The butter that I finished the sauce with pairs with the Chardonnay. It's a Chardonnay dish. A little sauce. I gotta double check. You know, I gotta double check. I like to call all of this color and sauce and stuff, I like to call that fool's gold. You can look at something and feel so good about what's going on in your glass, and you know, initially it tastes good, but as you get into it, it's like, eh. So that's why I gotta double check. Even better when I put a little bit of sauce on there. That sauce. Let's see. Wow. So I'm realizing now that I just said I was gonna double check, but I didn't taste the wine the first time with the food. I got so lost in how good the wine was tasting initially and how good the chicken was that I'm thinking it's a good pairing, but I hadn't had them together yet. And the reason why I know that is because just now I sipped it and I ate it, and yeah. Wow. All right. This is the true double check. I'm actually gonna get me another piece of chicken. I know I hadn't really finished the first one that I got, but let's check a leg. Get some sauce. Fantastic. Wow. Wow. Whew. It's that good. Yeah, it's really good. Oh, and I forgot, the cream reduced into the sauce is gonna pair with my Chardonnay as well. Fantastic pairing. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for watching my video today. If you're new, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. As I told you earlier, I regularly drop videos where I'm sharing my favorite recipes and I'm pairing them with wines. Please, in addition to that, hit that like button. Really helps out. I'm Chef Glenn B, and as always, eat well.